Lost my mind.
Good. Conneaut City Council for February 9, 2026 is now in session. Ms. Hoover.
Ms. Branch?
Present.
Mr. Castrilla?
Present.
Mr. Emery?
Here.
Mr. Gah?
Here.
Mr. Kozowski?
Here.
Mr. Moiseo?
Here.
Mr. Prokowski?
Present.
City Manager, Mr. Sanford?
Present.
Finance Director, Mr. Williams?
Here.
Law Director, Mr. Lewis.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for the invocation. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Eternal God, we gather tonight as neighbors and as public servants, mindful of the trust placed in these leaders by the people of Conneaut. We ask for your presence in this chamber tonight. Grant this council a spirit of patience and mutual respect. In the midst of differing opinions and complex decisions, help them to listen with open hearts and speak with kindness, remembering that they are bound together by a shared love for this city. Give them the wisdom to be faithful stewards of the resources and the future of our community. May their deliberations be guided by a vision that seeks the well-being of every street and every household, from the lakefront to our quietest neighborhoods. As we face the challenges of this season, remind us that we are all called to work together for a future filled with hope. May the work done here tonight be a reflection of justice, integrity, and service. Amen.
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 Thank you, Pastor Blood.
Thanks.
Okay, next we'll move on to approval of our meeting minutes for January 26, 2026. Anybody have any alteration or corrections they want to make to the record? If not, is there a motion?
I'll make that motion. Second it.
Ms. Branch?
Abstain.
Mr. Castrilla?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gah?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowski?
Abstain.
Mr. Moiseo?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
Abstain.
Okay, the meeting minutes for January 26 been approved. Next, we'll go on to our awards presentation. Is Spartan of the Month here?
I'm sorry,
Not yet.
I don't see him. Maybe the snow day threw him off today, so we weren't there to remind him.
Oh, that's right. Would you be able to, we'll read it into the record, would you be able to get the certificate? Okay. You can do that. I forgot there was no school here today. Okay, Ms. Hoover.
I'm sorry. The Spartan of the Month for February 2026 is James Fadley. James is an 11th grade student at Conneaut High School. Recently, a fellow student experienced a medical emergency and collapsed. James immediately responded to the student, placed him in a safe position, and stayed with him until help arrived. He demonstrated great concern for a classmate in a time of need, and his compassion and care were appreciated and valued. We are proud to call him a Spartan and are grateful for his kindness.
Okay.
Shall we,
Thank you.
Pass it down.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Give them our best.
Yes.
I will, thank you.
Congratulations. All right, we have no one here signed up for citizen comments. We'll move on, excuse me, to communications. Anybody have any communications they would like read into the record? We'll move on to our reports. We'll begin with Mr. Sanford.
Thank you, Mr. Moiseo. Council, good evening. On your legislative update for ordinances on this evening's agenda, I'd like to talk about three ordinances. 10-26 speaks to an item we talked about at work session last week. It would authorize any actions necessary to accept the NOPEC 2026 Energized Community Grant. This year's NEC grant is in the amount of $22,777 to the city of Conneaut, which will be added to the 2024 balance existing of $12,229. That amount will be expiring this coming November. We will be putting it to use for energy efficient projects throughout the city. Ordinance 11-26 before you this evening establishes and creates a social media policy for city employees as a handbook supplement. Has been added to the agenda as an emergency measure, similar to its counterparts that were passed in December through Ordinance 149-25. I have this under review with PEP right now, so I would therefore ask that we move this to a second reading for this evening. And lastly, just for purposes of discussion on ordinances, 13-26 was also discussed at work session concerning moving certain zoning provisions governing poultry, fowl, and farm animals out of an administrative heading into its own unique section. And I want to commend Ms. Hoover for identifying that as a need within the zoning code. I would recommend tabling that to accommodate a scheduled public hearing set for 5:30 p.m. on Monday, March 9th.
It's 1226.
That one is 13-26. Or excuse me, 1226. You're right, Mr. Moiseo. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Want to say that again?
Ordinance 12-26. The public hearing will be on Monday, March 9th at 5:30 p.m. Me and my typos. On to department operations, public works, I want to talk about salt. We've been hearing in the regional news about salt shortages. We've received word Friday that the salt shortage has hit Conneaut. Conneaut did max out its contract obligations of 1,000 tons for the season, as I had reported at our last regular meeting, so we had ordered an additional 200 tons at a premium rate, of course. We did get that honored. However, we were notified by Morton, who is the contract provider through our ODOT contract, that due to supply chain obligations, that would be our last shipment, I believe, until March. So we do also have roughly 52 tons, this was as of Friday, mind you, 52 tons of grit on hand to supplement our salt stores. So Public Works has been being litigious about this and understands everybody's needs. So we will address that accordingly. I think Mr. Castrilla had a question at our work session, if not the Monday before at our last council meeting, with regard to the traffic light at West Main at the Conneaut Plaza, possibly malfunctioning with respect to the sensor. That is a camera device that is aimed north toward the plaza to reach oncoming traffic and seeking to exit the plaza. On Friday, Public Works went over there to investigate and clean out that sensor. So it should be in working order. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Our water crews have been mitigating temperature-related main breaks for the past few weeks. Since the last council meeting, I can relay about 3 of them. I have this at Lake and Grove Streets. It was actually Detroit and Grove Streets, Mill and Main and Broad and 12th Street being the most recent over the past weekend. And there's a potential 4th at Mill and Grove. Again, this is that time of year where they're a major source of personnel, time, effort, and material, and nobody wants to be in the hole working on a main break in this weather. So I sympathize with the crews and thank them very much for their hard work on this. On the fire and EMS, our Conneaut Rescue Squad memberships are already receding for 2026. The cost of membership is $25 for a single membership, $45 for family membership. This offsets co-pays for ambulance-related services for members. This has been in place for a very, very long time. It's been a great program. The new ambulance that was ordered in 2023 is scheduled for delivery this November. I incorrectly noted that for August in my previous report. I apologize, Council. On capital improvements, I want to follow up on some conversation that I've had with ODOT with respect to the interchange at State Route 7 and I-90, noting we did have vehicle MVA this past Friday. Understanding that we do not anticipate seeing signals at that interchange until next year. We did ask about the possibility of a temporary measure or a temporary speed reduction. ODOT's answer is there are no provisions or equipment to build a temporary signal, and speaking from just me talking here, this is presumably without any substantial engineering design, given the scale of that interchange, those intersections. A speed reduction from 50 miles an hour to 45 miles an hour was warranted, but only concurrent with implementation of permanent signals. The state of Ohio will not permit or enforce the reduction of speed as it wasn't warranted prior to the implementation of signals. That was the most recent communication I had with ODOT as of last week. We did receive bid results for infrastructure improvements on Buffalo Street and on Park and Day Streets this past Friday. Verdanis is reviewing the bid results. There were 2 bidders for the projects, SET Incorporated and Severino. The apparent low bidder for the projects is SET Incorporated. Both projects, the apparent bids were fairly on target with the estimates, and legislation will be forthcoming for necessary action items relating to the gap financing for Ohio EPA for the loan programs there, for which we've already received project nomination. And the Old Main Road waterline relocation is out for bid and scheduled for bid opening on the 20th. This has a $340,000 cost estimate for the waterline component only to relocate the waterline away from the bridge foundations, which are being rebuilt as a function of the Old Main Bridge replacement project. That has OPWC funding attached to it, with the balance of it to be financed through Ohio EPA. A second phase for booster pump station improvements will also be forthcoming as design is in the final stages. Also, Clark Street Tank, with an estimated project cost of roughly $5 million, is awaiting final sets for issuance of advertisement for bids. Council will recall they authorized the advertisement under Ordinance 144-25. I will note that the engineers have given admonition to escalated lead times because this is a specialized project, and tank contractors are a little delayed for reasons unknown, but there are some jobs that are about a year behind. So for what it's worth, hopefully this will remain on time. An update onto the Estatic. The Voluntary Action Program through the State of Ohio's Brownfield program will conclude with asbestos abatement of the Novice Building in preparation of site demolition, leaving an opportunity for roughly anywhere between $400,000 to $500,000 in gap financing to see to completion. And I've got a meeting scheduled within the next few weeks with the new executive director of the Asheville County Land Bank, to look for opportunities for partnership. This project, again, the soils remediation and placement of dredge material from the city's dredge facility is complete, which is fantastic news. This is, probably 20 plus years in the making. This is the next level to see it to full completion. I think I had mentioned at our last meeting as well, we're issuing a letter of support to the Ohio EPA in their efforts to secure a federal EPA grant for technical assistance in the development of a comprehensive brownfield inventory for small communities. And I had a call this morning facilitated by the Asheville County Port Authority, along with the City of Geneva and Asheville Township as co-partners with this. The Ohio EPA will be the lead agency and the grantee for this. It's a fantastic opportunity to seek out additional brownfield funding for site-specific areas within the city. and hopefully the Ohio PA is successful in this endeavor. The remote tax collection will be accommodated here in council chambers on February 24th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in partnership and collaboration with the Ashtabula County Treasurer's Office. And I want to thank Ms. Cliff for doing this again. Her office spearheaded this last year and was very successful here in Conneaut. She did the same with the other two cities and other areas throughout the county. So Conneaut was very receptive, and the county treasurer's office made note of that, was very appreciative. And a special word of thanks to the Conneaut area city schools and ATEC for an invitation to Career Day at the Conneaut Middle School on February 6th. I had the pleasure of speaking to Ms. Pape's 7th grade class this past Friday on what it is that I do, why I do it, and why I love it. And that concludes my report, council. Thank you.
So, Mr. Sanford, going back to the signalization at 7 and 90. So we can lower the speed limit to 45 once the signals are in place.
That's correct.
However, they said they wouldn't permit or enforce the reduction as it wasn't warranted before the implementation of the signals.
It's interesting.
Yes. It's
hard to comprehend.
Kind of saying that's kind of,
Chicken before the egg.
yeah. So, okay.
With the item about the salt, is there a way we can communicate that to the community, like on our website? Because I'm sure we're gonna hear a lot of feedback, the next big snow. And maybe there'll be some questions why we're not salting.
We could put out
I
a
just-
statement.
I feel like it would be beneficial to communicate that.
I agree.
Hopefully if we do that, we won't get any more big snows, but,
Well,
it's only February.
we had a meeting, Public Works here a couple weeks ago, and part of our conversation was, this is a lesson learned, we need to allocate, sign up for a little bit more going into next calendar year. We had that conversation, so as a group, I think collectively, that's gonna be the action moving forward to try to avoid. I'd rather have excess and throw it away versus not having it for our safety is concerned, so. That is we had kind of had that conversation, correct?
You're correct, Mr. Castrilla, and I believe I'm just trying to recall back as to the conversation of historically, 1,000 tons has been how much the city has purchased on contract for a number of years, and that was scaled down from, I believe, 1,200 up to maybe 1,500. I'm not exactly sure of rough numbers. But it wasn't anything crazily above and beyond that, just in terms of conserving. But it's definitely worth noting.
Has it showed in the past record so many times we had to order extra salt by this time of year?
Also an excellent point. The data, the details would most certainly be in the data.
Well, was it last winter or the winter before? We had excess that we were storing, so you never
It
know
is
how the winter's
carryover.
gonna be. It's such a hard call for,
I'd rather be a little bit over than not have enough.
as long as the salt was, there were no issues with storing it, correct? I mean, I know we had the
We-
roof,
We had a cave in, yeah.
yeah, we had,
We are limited, and we always have been, except for the short time that we did have the larger facility, which was a very, very brief moment in a year, but, so we've always had limitations as to storage space for salt.
yeah, because if that gets wet, it's.
Mr. DeBelle did mention that at our meeting, that limited storage room that we have.
It's just unusual that, the salt companies, they cannot keep up with their
Yeah, that's another.
order
topic.
commitments from
Well, I can
municipalities.
tell you at the end of January, I was on the west side of Cleveland and with family, and they already had no salt.
Yeah.
So we were very fortunate to have what we had. It's not just us.
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Mr. Sanford? If not, we'll move on to Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mosio. Every year I give council an annual income tax update, and the first page there is obviously the graph history back from 1991, where we collected about 1.7 million in taxes. Now we're at 3.7. If you look at this history and you look at the chart, I mean, you can see a steady growth from 1991 all the way up through 2005, where it sort of plateaued there. Then we had the housing crisis. You can see that significant dip there. And then it started to climb back up, and it plateaued around 2019, and what happened there was COVID. So we had a couple down years, a significant drop in income tax, 10 to 15%. And then in 2022, it rebounded from about 3.3, almost 3.3 million to 3.6. It was about a 10% increase. And we've kind of hovered around that area ever since. But it's over that, probably the past 4 years, from 2022 to 2025, we've seen about a 2.5% increase. So as I said before, this year is another record, albeit it is a small one. But I'd rather have a record than go backwards. So if you look at that next page, we'll get into some of the detail here. Last year, we collected 3.699 million in taxes. This year, it was 3.706. It was an increase of about 6,974, or about 0.2%. But as I said, it's still a record. The refunds were less this year than they were last year. Last year, we had about 68,000 refunds. This year, about 48,000. Last year was about 1.85% in refunds. This year, it was down to about 1.32. In our estimate, I try to be conservative with that estimate because I don't want to over appropriate. But our estimate I had last year was 3.658 million. And the actual versus estimate, we actually collected $47,814 more than the estimate, which is good, or about a 1.31% increase. So if you look at the bottom part of the page, you'll see the type business, individual, withholding. And I went back to 2015. But if you look at 2025 for business, you'll see we were down from business, which is basically business profit, was down about 59,000, or about 17%, but that represents about 7%, almost 8% of our total collections. Individual was up pretty significantly, 18.68%. I'll get into that in a minute, or about 15% of collections. And then, of course, the vast majority of what we collect here in the city is from withholding. And withholding was down slightly, about 0.69%, or about 19,800. So overall, that represents about 224.6 million in taxable wages and profits. And then if you look at the very bottom where it says delinquent collections, AGO, that's the Attorney General. We started using the Attorney General for collections of delinquent income tax back in 2020. You can see we peaked at about 2022, about 189,000. And then last year, we were only about 45,000. This year, we're at 98,946, or about a $52,000 increase. I attribute that to a part-time person that we had working in the office, and also a new income tax administrator. And they were very aggressive about sending delinquent accounts to the Attorney General. And we always give people the opportunity to pay. They get multiple letters. Please, we don't want to take them to the Attorney General, but if they fail to respond or just don't pay, then we have no other choice. So that's a last resort, but as I said, if it weren't for that 52,000 increase, the collections for individual would be much less than what you see right there, and we probably wouldn't have seen an increase this year. We would not have had a record if it weren't for that. So very happy about that. And then the last page is the allocation. I know Ms. Branch and I had discussed this at our meeting, as far as the 1% and the 0.65. And at the risk of sounding repetitive, I'll just let you know that the 1% I put council can direct. So however council chooses to allocate that 1% is entirely up to council. And then the 0.65, which represents about 39% of the total, is allocated through ordinance and cannot be adjusted. So just for instance, general fund, under that ordinance, 11684, 54% of all allocations of that 0.65 are allocated to the general fund. If you combine those two, the 0.65 and the 1%, you'll see the summary at the bottom. General fund receives about 3/4 of all income tax collections, or about 2.77 million. Street department's next at 659,000. Council reserve is 145,000. The rest is capital improvement, streetlights, and recreation, for the total of the 3.7 million. So, as I said, this is just kind of a summary report. I can give you updates on a quarterly basis just to see where we're at as far as income tax collections, but this is kind of a look back for 2025. So, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
How does this compare, because I don't, one thing that I want to, as a function of, and I think you, Mr. Williams, you gave a very good synopsis at the end of last year, how this puts income tax in perspective to the rest of the budget. How does the collections compare to the cost of government? Because I think that there's, when we talk about tax in any sense, whether it be income tax, sales tax, and property tax, but steady growth from 91 on to today, there may be a sentiment that say, all right, well, that's a good sign. How does that correlate to the cost of providing the essential public services?
Yeah, the cost of providing services has grown much more than the income tax collections. There's no question about that.
Of course.
Income tax represents about 50% or about half of all our general fund revenue collections. But as far as you look at the growth in the cost of operations, as far as, wages, pensions, vehicles for the police department or the fire department, if you compare all that, yeah, this does not grow as fast as the expense, for sure. But it is a good sign. It shows that we have a pretty healthy business environment here in the city, and hopefully that continues to grow.
Absolutely.
Last year, I think we carried over about 566,000 in the general fund, which is decent. It's not ideal, but it's decent. I would prefer about a 20% carryover. We had about a 10% carryover. So prior to that, it was about a little over about 780,000, I believe. So we did use some of that fund balance, but hopefully, as I said, we continue to grow our income tax base.
Any other questions for Mr. Williams?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job, John.
And thanks for pointing that out, Mr. Sanford. That was good.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move on to reports of our standing committees and committee reports this evening.
Yes. I submitted a meeting notes for Economic Development Committee. We met this February 5th here in council chambers. We had a good crowd of attendees, and I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but we kind of hit the highlights of some possible developments throughout the city, including the marina area, lakefront, and also industrial park, and the possibility of data centers and all that coming through. The committee decided to, really look at, investigate communities that already have data centers, to look at the pros and cons of them. And we have the hope of being able to visit one of those communities to collect more information about that. Mr. Sanford, is there anything else you want to add?
No, Mr. Prokowski, I think you summed it up perfectly. And we are investigating those opportunities for council to explore communities with data centers.
Where would be the closest one?
That's what we need to find out.
Columbus metropolitan area comes to mind, the peripheral area where those newer developments have been.
I have the information I think I can send you, because we talked about one of them, so.
Okay.
Can you
Okay,
tell?
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I
Go ahead.
apologize.
No, go ahead.
I was there for most of the meeting, but can you talk on the landmark historic preservation item that's on here? Did you,
That was something I had begun to draft back in November, and I have not had much traction on that since. So,
okay, that's all right.
so I was utilizing, after reviewing something that the city of Sandusky had crafted,
It's like the downtown area.
downtown Port District area, yeah.
Okay. I know that grant funding can come through that,
Absolutely.
so that's a
Yep.
great
Yep.
idea.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, our board liaisons.
So I have one. Does anyone else have one tonight?
It's all you.
All right, so Conneaut Port Authority met on January 15th, so I'm the new liaison there, so it was nice to meet the group. They did their election of officers, so President Bill Klein, Vice President Mark Presley, and Secretary Christina Showalter. They welcomed 2 new employees, so I'm not sure if everyone is aware of that. So their new office assistant is Tammy Zappatelli, and Kevin Strite is their marina and maintenance manager. And Terry Trisket, unfortunately, her last day was January 16th, but she'll be helping them out through the transition. Mr. Strite, he presented a maintenance report. So there's a new B dock that was purchased with ODNR grant funds. That's going to be delivered this month. They have 4 new jet ski docks also ready for pickup. Their equipment was all maintained and serviced, so it's ready for the spring. They are looking at asking the ATEX students to build 10 additional picnic tables, and they have these great new garbage cans that they're going to be installing in the spring, so that's really exciting. It's going to look nice. There are 3 Port Authority members that are going to be going to the 2026 Ohio Marina Conference, which focuses on clean marinas, waterway protection, boating accessibility, and industry's best practices, and that's going to be here at the Geneva Lodge in February, so it's really great that that's close by. They're continuing to apply for a lot of substantial grant funding. They've been awarded, as we know, $1.74 million from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, $50,000 from the Lake Erie Protective Grant, and they're pursuing additional shoreline project funding and have support from Senator Houston's office for dredging of the federal and recreational channel. So they're working hard to pull in those grants to make improvements for our port. The maintenance department is in need of seasonal part-time help, so I wanted to be sure to mention that. If it's not posted yet, it will be posted soon on their website and the Port Authority's Facebook page. And there is also 1 board seat available. I believe we have 1 seat that looks like it'll be filled, but there is still 1 board seat that they have. And their next meeting will be Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m.
Okay, Ms. Branch, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the reading of our ordinances and resolutions this evening. We have several in the first reading and 1 in the third reading, so we'll begin with our third reading ordinance number 0326.
An ordinance to amend section 52111 of the City of Conneaut Codified Ordinances governing junk and unlicensed vehicles and not declaring an emergency.
Okay, so this has went through 3 readings. Is there a motion to proceed?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Moiseo, that we act on ordinance 03-26.
Okay, Mr. Castro, motion to act on 03-26.
Second.
Ms. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Castrillo?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gah?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moiseo?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
Yes.
Okay, Ordinance 03-26 is passed. Next, we'll move on to our first reading ordinances and resolutions this evening. We'll begin with ordinance 10-26.
An ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept a Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council 2026 Energized Community Grant and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Sanford.
Yeah, does council have any other questions?
Yeah, I think you covered it in your manager's report. Any additional questions?
Jesus.
If not, is there a motion to proceed?
I'll make a motion to waive the 3 reading rule on ordinance 10-26.
Second.
Ms. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Castrola?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gah?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moiseo?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
I'd like to make a motion to declare ordinance 10-26 a emergency.
Declare 10-26 an emergency.
Second.
Ms. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Castrola?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gah?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moiseo?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Prokowski?
I'd like to move to act on ordinance 10-26.
Mr. Knapp, 10-26.
Second.
Ms. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Castrola?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gah?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moiseo?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 10-26 has passed. Move on to ordinance 11-26.
An ordinance to adopt an updated social media policy and incorporate the same into the City of Conneaut Employee Handbook and declaring an emergency.
Okay, that will be moved to a second reading.
Thank you.
Move on to ordinance 12-26.
An ordinance to repeal section 1137.072B and C of the codified ordinances of the City of Conneaut and create section 1133.15 governing poultry, fowl, and farm animals and not declaring an emergency.
Okay, that will also be moved to second reading. The third reading would be, go ahead. You want to move or table?
You want to table that?
You want to table it? Okay.
Yeah, our public hearing for that, again, is scheduled
March 9th.
March 9th, 5:30 PM.
And I was thinking February, yeah, I was thinking February 9th, our next meeting.
Does that give us enough?
That would give us enough time. But if you want a table to make it easier, that's fine too. And we can remove it off the table after the hearing.
Yeah,
Whatever we need to do.
move off the table, yeah.
So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead, move it to second. Next meeting, if we have to, we can table. Go from there.
I think it's reasonable.
All right, so 12-26 will be moved to second reading. We'll move on to ordinance 13-26.
An ordinance to amend the 2026 budget through appropriations and fund and interfund transfers attached hereto and marked Exhibit A.
Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mosio. We only have 2 adjustments or changes to the budget. One, we had some cash carryover in the levy, which I wanted to utilize for wages for the part-time dispatch. That's $30,000. And the home repair for community housing, we had a request from the county to utilize some of our program income in the community housing fund. We have about $65,454, I believe, left in there. They want to use about 2/3 of that for their CHIP program, for the county CHIP program that would be utilized here in the city. So we do have to appropriate that for $42,400. And the grand total is $72,400 for this budget amendment.
Any further questions for Mr. Williams? I think just bringing up with part-time dispatch is that thanking the county commissioners for doing the resolution to support dispatchers throughout the state of Ohio as first responders, because they are not designated that at this time.
That's correct.
So hopefully that goes through the state of Ohio. It'll be easier for municipal governments to operate, especially when it comes to overtime, Fair Labor Standards Act, so on and so forth. So I just want to mention it for that.
As far as the CHIP funds go, so does that mean we have $30,000 and some odd change for 2026 because there is no CHIP grant for next, or the upcoming season?
Yeah, we would have about 23,000 left for next
23.
year if they wanted to utilize those funds.
And this is just, again, it's line item specific for program income. And I think this ties back to the fiscal, or the program year 2023.
Oh,
chip
okay.
agreement. So it's related activities that are tied back to that. It's my
So
understanding.
these funds are for 2023 that they're requesting? No.
According to
That's the
the,
case, I mean, but I can tell you that these payments have been made over many years.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
but
they're
with us
represented.
just not having an opportunity to get the CHIP grant again, that's,
Yeah.
so I did bad math, because you said there was like 65,000 left, or
Yeah.
total?
65, I
Yeah,
think it's
okay.
454,
Yeah, so that we only have 20-some,
right,
Thousand for-
after this.
yeah.
we did meet with, we did meet with the county about 2 weeks ago, and the other municipalities on an application for next year's program cycle. Still waiting on a technical assistance meeting with the state of Ohio on this most recent funding application.
I guess I was just asking what season this was going towards, because if we only have X amount of dollars left for next year, as long as the county knows, we only have so much in our, so much to give
I've-
next year,
I've made
you
them aware
know?
of what the balance is.
Yeah. Okay. It's just unfortunate, that's all.
Agreed.
Additional questions on that? If not, is there a motion to proceed?
I'll make that motion to suspend the 3-reading rule on ordinance 13-26.
Okay, motion to suspend the 3-reading rule on ordinance 13-26.
Second.
Ms. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Castrola?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gah?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moiseo?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Branch.
And I'll make a motion to act on ordinance 13-26.
Okay, motion to act on ordinance 13-26.
Second.
Ms. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Castrola?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gah?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moiseo?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 13-26 has passed. Okay, we'll move on to any unfinished and old business. Anybody have any unfinished and old business? If not, we'll move into miscellaneous business. Does anybody have any miscellaneous business? I just have one thing, just another reminder. We discussed it this evening, the public hearing on March the 9th at 5:30 for poultry and farm animals. We're amending section 1133-15 of the zoning ordinance. So just a reminder on that. Anything else?
I'm just going to add a couple things, and then a couple things, and I've said it the last time we were on television, is that please, please, please keep your fire hydrants clean this time of year for neighbors. Check on your elderlies. I think I said that as well the last time. But I also want to give a shout out to one of my neighbors, Rick Heath and his son TJ. They actually went around the neighborhood clearing off all the sidewalks with the snow blowers. TJ going around clearing out some fire hydrants. So they don't know that, but a big thank you. Because that's really nice.
Any other miscellaneous business this evening? If not, we're going to go into executive session, and that is to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual pursuant to section 121.22G1 of the Ohio Revised Code. We will come out of executive session. We'll have no other business when we come out of executive session, so I'll need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Ms. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Castrola?
Yes.
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Gah?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moiseo?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
Yes.
Okay, we will be in executive session.